Portal?
I'm gone.
Hello, Ignis. Well, he's not friendly right now, is he? Alright. Let me save! I don't want to redo all of that. Health is not good either. I really should have taken a moment to swap out equipment based on being solo more. I guess I thought I was gonna run around and find everyone relatively quickly. Like I'd be running from level to level and re-recruiting everyone, so I didn't actually think about working solo. But I thought I just would have to find everyone again, and it kind of feels like that cutscene suggesting that they might be dead now. Like the game might just kill everybody off at the end, which is rough. Hello. Oh, I do have these healing scrolls. There we go. Let me save. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have a Morte, so I can't aggro him to not make him not cast spells. So he could be dangerous. Okay, that didn't do shit, thankfully. It is starting to do shit. Well, that's a lot of trick. Oh. I thought it was still doing damage while I was paused. I think he said, I have betrayed your teachings? Huh. Uh-oh. It's surprising there's not like a conversation. I mean, I don't expect much from Ignis. He's like not always so much of a character. He's more of a backstory than a character. But him just attacking me, like him just being aggro and no conversation popping up is a surprise. Usually when you have a fight to the death with the party member, there's like a whole confrontation. So maybe everyone's dead? Maybe except Anna? Or maybe the city moving killed Anna too? I don't know. This huge crystal radiates a pulsating spectral light as it hovers above the crater in the middle of the room. The rhythm of its pulses remind you of a heartbeat, but slow and sickly. Light from the crystal touches the edges of the room like fingers, each ray of light casting a glow on the ruined faces of the statues surrounding it. Touch the crystal. There is a moment of dizziness as you touch the crystal. Then a slow chill passes through your body, and you discover that your muscles have locked, your hand frozen to the crystal's surface. There is a moment of silence. Then sharp pains splinter through your body like fractures. You feel as if your very being has been turned to ice, then shattered. Fall into darkness. It's a me! All of the me's, right? There's gonna be like the paranoid one and so on. Hello. I wish I was zoomed in a bit more, damn. In general, I wish that it would automatically zoom in a bit more at every cutscene. Just because it's easier to look at. It's a little hard to navigate that way. The good incarnation. Alright, well that's unsubtle. He has awakened. The practical incarnation. Finally. I thought I would die again waiting for him to rise. Perhaps you will still die. Never forget, I watch, you thieves, you killers, killers all three of you. Have a care how you speak to me, you deranged wreck. He was fortunate to reach here with all those traps you scattered throughout the plains. I swear, if I could have crossed the years to put you out of your misery, I would... The two of you, be silent. Let us make sure he is all right, and save the arguments for later. I'm going to voice them very different from each other because trying to do different tones of the same voice would be very difficult to differentiate. What? Who are you all? By the hells, he's lost his memories. Damnation, he's useless to us now. Calm yourself. He's only disoriented, as were we all. Give him a moment to get his bearings. You're all thieves, wearing my body, and you will get it, and you will give it back. I am at the limits of my patience with your howling. Be silent, or... This arguing avails us nothing. Give him his space. Leave him be. Time is no longer in our favor. We will not stand here and squander another moment while our adversary is no doubt hunting us. We waited long enough for him to awaken. I will speak to him now. The man before you resembles you, but he carries himself more like a force than a man. His eyes are watching you carefully, and as you study him, you feel him studying you. So, it has come to this. Who are you? I will not surrender my name to you or any man. The man's voice is rough, like yours, and it rings strangely in your ears. As for who I am, you should be asking yourself that. You are one of my incarnations. You made it here with my clues to guide you. We are separate incarnations. How is that possible? The incarnation is silent for a moment, then his expression changes to contempt. If there is anything I have hated about you, it is your countless questions, your desperate fumbling for meaning and answers. The man's voice is like a hatchet, and anger flickers across his features. The time for questions is past. Now, you will listen to me. I was the first to breach this fortress, and whatever it is that awaits us here was somehow able to defeat me. It will not best me a second time. You sound as if you intend to fight whatever it is that lurks here. The man gives you a strange look, then studies you. Of course. That's the only reason we're speaking now. I'll need you to be the shell, but your mind must be my mind. Do you understand me? You mean you intend to possess me?
Updated my journal.
Yes. He glances around at the spiked walls, then turns back to face you. We cannot leave this place in pieces. Only one may leave. How are we to become one? You must surrender your will to me. Your knowledge and skills, whatever little you've managed to accumulate in your life, may prove useful. He sizes you up again. It ultimately will be but a fraction of my power, but it might have its uses. Yet you came here previously and were defeated. The man frowns. I was taken unawares, and I did not anticipate that my companions would be split from me upon my arrival. What happened after that is confusing. If you're one of my incarnations, then I've questions for you. I will indulge you, but only for a while longer. You are the one who saved Dekon from Shrakathor, the one who imprisoned Valor, the one who led Dianara to her death. The man's eyes narrow. What of it? All of it was done with a purpose. Why did Dianara have to die? Dainara, that girl had little sense of the planes in her. That was what I needed her for. You see, the Dustmen have it right. Sometimes when you feel too much passion, you cling too lightly to life to let go. And neither did Dainara, as I hoped she would. That woman? That woman? That ghost? The hunched man's eyes swell in fury, and spittle flies from his mouth. She tormented me for years, pursuing me, hating me, and you were the one that killed her? The Incarnation barely even glances at the howling one and merely sneers. You blaming me for anything is laughable. He turns back to you. It wasn't out of malice, though she did become tiresome. It's just that when I arrived in the fortress, I didn't intend to stay. I just wanted to get in, sacrifice her, then get out. That was his entire goal, was to sacrifice her, and she did not know that, did she? It's brutal he's known as the practical one. And I suppose in a way he is, but he's cruel. His internal monologue during the entire Dainara thing is one of the most emotionally engaging parts of the entire game, because she's so sincerely invested and so actively being manipulated, and from his perspective, he's just so callous. It was brutal to read through. I kind of wish there was more of these characters throughout the game, just because when they did start poking up here and there, those were some of the coolest parts. The third Incarnation speaks softly, but he sounds pained. Why did you do such a terrible thing? I needed someone to be my eyes here on the negative material plane, to serve as a scout and try to find out who my killer was. Only the dead can survive here for long. The irony of that sentence. So Dainara had to be sacrificed so that she could become something other than she was. A tricky business, but it worked. She helped you, didn't she? She honestly didn't help me that much. Like, she's here, it's fine. I could have probably done this without her. You didn't have to kill her. He looks at you silently for a moment, then his sneer returns. And that is why you will be defeated if you confront our killer. It is because you are weak, and you do not see that some things are necessary. This guy's a mist villain. That wasn't necessary. It was convenient for you. You should have looked for other solutions. You dare lecture me? Women have always walked our path with us, whether Dainara or Ravel or any other woman, and they have suffered. And it was always their choice. Dainara would have died for me if I'd asked her to. There was no crime. Nope. Incomprehensible morality. Just because people pledge their life to you doesn't mean you're morally in the right to be dismissive of that responsibility. That's what they call a power dynamic. I won't discuss it with you any longer. There are other things I would know. Wow! Oh my god. This one goes. Should I be worried about how much time I have? Because he says he'll only bother me for a time. I wonder if there's a limit on how much I can go through these or not. Are you the one who taught Ignis the art? Ignis? The man stares at you, then frowns. Is that a name? Who in the hells are you talking about? You have answered my question. Were you the one who pried Morte off the Pillar of Skulls? Is Morte still alive? Oh yeah, I haven't seen Morte. Like, if the other people are dying in those scenes, he hasn't. The Incarnation stares for a moment in disbelief, and then starts laughing. Ha! That piking skull couldn't be trusted farther than I can throw him, claiming he had information when he didn't. Then I had to go through the torment of prying him off the Pillar of Skulls. Then he feigned ignorance once he was off of it. The Incarnation scoffs. I humored him, since he'd told me everything I needed from him. Feigned ignorance? Oh yes, the man smiles. Once a liar, always a liar. It takes a stronger mind than the skulls to give me the laugh, though. What was his game? What more did he have to lie about? The Incarnation smirks. It is of no matter. Let the skull have his secrets, they are worthless to us. Very well. Were you the one who asked Farod to get the bronze sphere from the catacombs? Farod? The Incarnation thinks for a moment. Oh, yes, the Trash King with all the tough bloods that thought I was easy prey. He smiles slightly, as if recalling a pleasant memory. After only a little bloodletting, I struck a bargain with him. He would see to it that if his men found me, they would take me safely to the mortuary. And, of course, I needed the eyes and hands of his men to scour the catacombs beneath Sigil for me. That might even be tied to the missions. There were a bunch of people, like a lot of the people that were dead down there. For the bronze sphere? Yes. I told Farod it was the only thing that would save his miserable life. What a sniveling little dodger he was. The Incarnation smiles at you. You see, the old bastard was designed to end up in the Pillar of Skulls when he died. Was destined to. And he was desperately trying to weasel out of it. So I told him that there was an item beneath Sigil that would save him from his fate, if he could only find it. But it wouldn't save him. It was just something you wanted him to find. Of course. It was useless to him. One cannot dodge fate so easily. He looks at you, irritated. However, nothing motivates a man faster than telling him that what he seeks will save his soul from eternal damnation. I intended to take it from him after he found it. It's just that searching for it myself would have taken too long. The irony there, because I'm still the one who searched for it. And I'm him. He smiles again. And why should I do it when I can have someone else hunt for me? Actually, he ended up tricking me into finding it for him. Why was it so important? Important? Do you not know? The Incarnation becomes silent for a moment. Do you have it with you? Yes, I do. I brought it with me. You have it? The Incarnation's eyes flare. Then your life had some use after all. You watch his eyes flicker as if thinking, calculating. When we merge, I will see about finding a means to unlock it. Perhaps all is not lost. What is the sphere? Why is it important? It is a dead sensory stone. Do you know what it contains? He smiles eagerly. It holds the last experiences of the first of us. When we were one man, and not a string of incarnations. His voice drops. If there is some way of unlocking it, I will be able to see inside his mind. And see why this all happened? Yes. The Incarnation's face has become somber. It is the answer I have always sought. Why this happened. Why we became immortal. He studies you. When we merge, I will see about finding a means to unlock it. Perhaps I'll not... The third Incarnation interrupts. Perhaps there are no answers to such a thing. perhaps there never was. I don't deal in the realms of perhaps and maybe. The first incarnation sneers. I seek answers. It is what has allowed me to get this far. He looks at the third incarnation with contempt. If we had left life in your hands, we wouldn't have even a fraction of the truth we now possess, and in that truth lies power. He turns to you. You will realize that when we merge. We shall see. Still got plenty more to ask. Okay, so it's seemingly safe to pick all of them, so we'll start back at the beginning. You are the one who saved Dakon from Shrak-Atlor. Nope. I think I picked that one at the beginning, right? I'm pretty sure I did. You were the one who led Dionara to her death. That's just the other version of that one, though. You gave Dakon the Unbroken Circle of Zerthamon. Why? The Unbroken Circle? That collection of lies? Yes, it was a week's worth to forge such a thing. It was necessary to make it so he would cease doubting himself. You made it, but you told him. Perhaps they carry some truth. I know not. I know that they were tedious writings, but the words were easy enough to give him faith. The words were enough to give him faith. Why? Your ignorance astounds me. The man looks incredulous. Can it be that you do not know what he carries in his hand? That blade he carries is shaped by his thoughts. Such a tool, when used properly, could slay the multiverse itself. The man looks lost in thought. Then his face sneers in disgust. Though, obviously, the Gith became separated when we arrived in the fortress, and I was unable to make use of his blade. The man frowns. Unfortunate. What was the purpose of saving Dakon from Shrak-Atlor? Same answer. All these variations. It seems like it all goes the same thing. What was the purpose of imprisoning Valor? So there's fewer options here than it seems, kind of, in that a bunch of them lead the same dialogue at least. The man shakes his head as if weary. Valor was becoming tiresome. That's not the voice. Valor was becoming tiresome. He gives a humorless smile. Those mercy killer dogs will hunt you across the plains themselves in search of justice. And Valor was an especially persistent hound. The Incarnation's voice dropped slightly, and he was much too close to justice for my tastes. Why was he hunting for us? Oh, any of countless reasons, some of which lie with me, and others which lie in the hands of other incarnations. He flicks a glance over the Incarnation who was howling when you first arrived. There have been many lives that have been blackened by incarnations with damaged minds. Some of us have created problems. I believe in solutions. Was he a threat? Oh, yes. Or else I would have simply killed him. He nods. There is some link between him and justice itself, and that gives him power even over immortals such as us. The man gives a slight smile. Especially if our injustices are great, and ours are of the blackest sort. You built that tomb beneath Sigil, didn't you? The one with the traps? I'd almost forgotten, yes. What a waste that was. The Incarnation seems irritated. Obviously that didn't work. And it cost a lot of blood and coin, too. Worthless! The second Incarnation breaks into uneven laughter, but it's more gleeful than mad. It was easy to breach that child's trap. I found it and changed it to make it harder. Changed the writings. The first Incarnation frowns at the second. He looks like he is barely restraining himself from attacking the other. Yet another thing you will answer for. He turns back to you. Though I suppose it doesn't matter. It was shortly after the failure of the tomb trap that I decided to carry the battle to our killer rather than wait for him to show any longer. Who are these others? Other incarnations, reflections of ourselves. I will have them merge with me after I deal with you. He glances at the hunched Incarnation who was howling when you first arrived. Or kill them if they refuse. It is of no matter, they are not necessary. I don't think I like this guy very much. How do I escape this place? You must surrender your will to me. Your knowledge and skills, whatever little you've managed. Yep. And if I choose not to surrender my will to you? You have no choice in the matter. You do not know how to escape this place. I do. If you refuse to surrender with me, I will refuse to surrender to you, and neither of us will ever be able to leave this place. Only one may leave, and it will not be you. Do you still intend to fight whatever it is that lurks here? Yes. He glances around at the spiked walls and turns back to face you. We cannot leave this place in pieces. I guess this. How do you propose we do that? Yeah, it's mostly looping to the same things. Were you responsible for the tattoos on my back? The ones I read when I woke up in the mortuary? The directions? He nods, irritated. Of course I was responsible. I knew there was a chance I might fail here and lose my memories. I wanted future incarnations to benefit from some guidance, so I had the directions stitched on my back. Since such things, like journals, he snarls as if angry at himself, tend to be lost so easily. Are they tattoos or stitched? Doesn't seem to match up. The directions were kind of vague, though. Are you a fool? The Incarnation looks exasperated. The directions needed to be vague. I couldn't spell out exactly what was happening to us, so I left a signpost. What do you think would have happened if a dustman had read them? Or someone even more balmy? How quickly do you think we would have been buried alive or cremated? Very well. What about me seeking Farod, though? Why him? Farod? Been there. Why did you put that warning about Morte on the back? Okay, so he doesn't really directly answer the questions you asked. He loops back to certain things that can be reached multiple ways. Doop-a-doop. This doesn't necessarily explain why the warning, like it's so important to not trust Morte that there's a whole tattoo on my back for it, when he was just a nuisance he didn't care about. Doesn't quite feel like it works as an answer to that question. I think it's a bit akin to why I potentially missed certain things on certain characters' dialogue or whatever, is that like these become like labyrinthine to go through, and there's a lot of like looping parts that fit into each other, and eventually you go down the list so you think you got them all, but there's like branching paths behind some of these dialogue choices that you might not have exhausted every variation thereof, and it gets very hard to keep track of. People are saying I'm not like thorough enough or something. I'm like, damn, I'm trying. I'm going into these with the intent of exhausting the dialogue, aside from stuff that's morally out of line or something, and it's hard because you don't know what you're missing or where to expect things. I will not merge with you. You will merge with me. The man looks at you, then smiles incredulously. I surrender to no man. It is you who will be absorbed by me. I doubt it. Do you intend to fight me on this? The man seems more amused than anything else. You are no match for me. There's little point in resisting. Try me. So be it then. His eyes become gray like mist, and he gives a slight smile as if in anticipation. We shall see what your mind has in store. You lock gazes with him. His eyes are like stones, and they start to drag you down. Lock gazes with him and try and force him to merge with you. You feel your mind beginning to peel apart as you lock gazes with him, and you know that his will is stronger than yours. If you persist, he will absorb you, and you will be no more. Rip your eyes away from him, turn away. You rip your gaze away from his, and you see his face twist in fury. What are you doing? Are you so weak you cannot even face our future? By the hells, what a hollow shell you have become. Let me get my bearings. I shall return. Ah, you can leave the dialogue. My health is better than expected. Can I save finally? Yay! Can I rest? I'm healed. Okay. Still can't use the bronze sphere though. Okay. Hopefully this recording doesn't get lost. I'm having some issues lately. Love that for me. Can't. I love recording with the constant stress that maybe I'll lose the recording to who knows what current new problem is happening. It's just my 6-month cycle, I guess. The man before you resembles you, but his back is hunched, as if he is perpetually afraid of being struck. He is watching you warily, and he hisses as you approach, his hands clenching, as if wanting to strangle you. His arms are horribly gnarled and scarred, as if they had been dunked into a stream of acid, and his left arm looks like it is holding on by a thread, literally. Did he get chopped up by one of his own traps? Why isn't he healing, I wonder? Who are you? Know that you will not last long in this place, thief! Spittle flies from the man's mouth, and his face twists in a maddening grin. Mazes and regrets and death are all that are here. You are wasting your time speaking to that one. His thoughts are all angles and spite, and... It's the wrong voice. No, it is the right one. No, I'm an idiot. Okay, now I got it all twisted up. For some reason I thought the bottom left one was the good one. And nothing more. Stop wasting time. There's much the two of us must speak of. Thief! The Incarnation's hands twist, as if strangling the other. I will feel the bones of your neck snap beneath my fingers. Take my body back. He turns to you. Thief! You wear my body like a cloak and you shame me. I am no thief. I stole nothing from you. You stole everything. It's some water, apparently. I awoke on the streets of the Ring City, and all who saw me knew me. He takes a rasping breath. All that you had done, all that you had harmed, they were waiting for me, blaming me, hurting me, until I couldn't take the voices anymore. His fingers grasp at the air, and had to make them silent. This guy's really interesting because he's right, kind of. He's misinterpreting the data, but he is observing the correct data, which is that somebody who looks like him did cause a bunch of problems that he's then being blamed for. And it was probably the practical Incarnation or some of the other ones that never made it this far. But he thinks it's because somebody else is literally impersonating him right now, and not that there was... He didn't correctly interpret the series of separate consecutive people, as far as I can tell. You were the one who killed the linguist, Finn, weren't you? Then wrote the dodecahedron journal in the language of the Uyo. He affixes you with a wary eye, and it seems just looking at you is making him uncomfortable. You're the one who set fire to Aeonis' legacies, weren't you? Trying to destroy my legacy. I burned the false papers, yes. More lies. Lies about my false lives. There are other things I would know. The sensory stone. You're the one who left it for me, weren't you? Yes. He smiles, low and evil. Simple trap. Trap for someone who can't die. Mind trap. It was simple to escape, actually. The smile freezes on the Incarnation's face. You lie. No, it was pathetically easy. I was able to escape it with no effort. Lying thief! His eyes blaze like fires, and you watch as he clutches his left arm, then pulls, the stitching of the shoulder tearing off, unraveling. What? Oh! Wow.
I'm hurt.
He's gonna win.
Don't let it end like this.
He just beat me to death with his arm. Impressive. I'm not very strong. And that I retrace all my steps. You were the one who strangled all those people in Sigil? His eyes flicker to the black stones, as if remembering something unpleasant. He begins to shake slightly. They claimed they knew me. Had to silence them. Stop their voices. Accusing. Always accusing. What happened to your arm? He glances down at his arm for a moment, then looks up and smiles. Kept coming off, so I had to stitch it up again. Why does his arm keep coming off? Like, why doesn't the healing work? Do you know how I can leave this place? I will never tell you, and you will never leave, he smiles. It is quiet here. Peaceful. What do you know of the other incarnations? Thieves. They are thieves, all of them, and thieves will die. Do not threaten me, you fool. I warn you, if anyone is the thief, it is you. You sought to steal our chances to settle this matter by sabotaging all my work. You are the thief. You stole my body and my life, and thieves will die. Lock your hands around his neck and strangle him. Wow, okay. Let us speak in private. Just the two of us, but I'm speaking in the language that only we speak. As you speak in the language of the Uyo, the Incarnation's eyes widen, and he stares at you. After a moment of silence, he replies in the same language. Only I know the language of the Uyo. How do you know it? You are correct. You are the only one who knows the language of the Uyo. So if I know the language of the Uyo, I must be you. He is silent, staring at you. It is these others who are not you, for they do not know the language of the Uyo. He nods, slowly. I hear you. This place confuses one's perceptions. We are both you, and now we must become as one. He looks frightened. To your surprise, he reverts to normal speech, and all the inflections to his voice are gone. It is calm, level, and much like your own. I no longer wish to live like this. You have suffered much. You were born into a world where nothing made sense, where strangers claimed they knew you. They blamed you for things you knew nothing of, and they tried to hurt you. He looks at you, and you watch as the Incarnation loses its mad gleam, and his eyes become more like your own. Yes. I will protect you now. You will know peace, for that is all you ever wanted, isn't it? The Incarnation relaxes at your words, his eyes dimming as he locks gazes with you. There is the faintest of whispers, and he falls to the black stones. With his collapse, you feel a crawling sensation in the back of your skull. And there is a flood of memories, and strength, and emotions, and you steady yourself, dizzy for a moment. Then your vision clears, and you are yourself once more. Farewell.
I feel stronger.
Ooh. And this is experience I get to keep instead of splitting between everyone else because no one else is here. Which is different. Let's see. Oh, the ring. Let's put the displacer ring back on because it gives me better AC, and this is useless right now because I'm not fighting shadows anyway. I should have put that on sooner. Okay, that's progress. You're the practical one. The good one. But also let's level first, I guess. Level 15, level 16, right? 1 characteristic point, 3 hit points. Not a ton of upgrades, although fighting skills have improved is pretty vague, I guess. I'm leveling up my wisdom because it's my highest intellectual stat. And maybe it'll let me defeat the other guy if I have enough of it. Because right now he's too strong for me, his will. And will is tied to wisdom, usually. At least in the D&Ds I've played. Which is not this one. I think this is 2. The man before you resembles you, but his face seems calmer, somehow. He gives you a slight smile as you approach, and he nods, as if in approval. Are you all right? Who are you? Have we ever had a name? Or was it just the first of us? The man chuckles softly. Know that I am your ally in this. I, like these others, have died my death in your mind, and this figment is all that remains. But who are you? Ah. His smile fades, and he looks at you with concern. This must be disorienting for you. Let me try and explain. I am one of your incarnations. I was once lost. Now I am here again. How is that possible? I do not know. Whatever you touched within the fortress has brought pieces of yourself to the surface. He pauses for a moment, thinking. One of the others may know the means of how this came to be, but it is beyond me. If you are a part of me, there are things I must know. Ask. I have had countless lives. Why are there only 3 incarnations here? I do not know. Perhaps we were the 3 pieces that were somehow still present in your mind. Present? How? I do not know for sure, but I would guess that when we die, traces of the former personality may remain in your mind, and I know that sometimes we may make ourselves felt. How? When you are about to place yourself in danger, or were close to a realization, for example, I found that I could stir, help to prod you in the right direction. So you were that crawling sensation I kept feeling in the back of my skull. I would be at a loss to describe how it felt to you, but it is possible, yes. Before, you said that when you die, traces are left in the mind. That's what caused you all to emerge, right? My understanding may not be complete, but yes, that seems to be the case. And we make ourselves... It's basically the same conversation with a different prompt. Do you know why I wanted to become immortal? No, I do not. I think it was done out of fear. Perhaps one of the others knows, but not I. What makes you think it was done out of fear? The man smiles slightly, but there is no humor in it. If anything, it is a sad smile. What man wishes to die? He shakes his head slowly. But only the first of us will ever truly know the reason that brought us to this state. What was your life like? It was quiet and long, and was filled with much of the pain and the joys that one would expect in life. I served as a cartographer for a time, and I walked the plains for several years. How did you die? In the end, as I traveled upon the fields of Bytopia, several shadows took on life as I lay sleeping. I died as I felt their claws upon me. They are the shades of all those who died in our place. The man looks pained. Yes, I know. I know that now. One cannot be in this place of regrets and not feel their agony. That's rough when if you are a good person, then there's a nightmare scenario of finding out that like, oh, your immortality came at the cost of several people's lives, and it was against your will and knowledge, but now you know. I came to this fortress with allies, but they have been separated from me. Then I fear your friends are already dead. The man looks pained. This place bears a hatred for the living. How do I leave this place? I do not know. I have never been here before. One of the others may possess the knowing of how to leave, but I do not. In order to leave, you must again become part of me. Will you do so? I had a suspicion. We were not meant to exist as this. As a Oh, I misread this from the beginning. We were not meant to exist as this. And as unnatural as our immortality is, this situation compounds it. He nods. Yes, I will merge with you again. You know that you will cease to exist? He nods. Yes, I know. Very well. One last thing. Just this. The Incarnation pauses for a moment, searching your features. Before I return to Oblivion, there is something I would know. I can spare a little time for this. What do you wish to know? He studies your eyes, his expression somber. Did you live your life? The brief life that you have had? In the end? Was it worth it? It seemed so short. What little I experienced, I enjoyed. I do not wish to forget it. Whoop. He nods, and for a moment you think he's going to say something, but then he collapses, and the life running out of him and into yours. As he falls into the black stones, you feel a crawling sensation in the back of your skull, making you shiver. You know that the Incarnation is no more. Farewell. That was even more wisdom. Hello. Well. If this is the right stat for this guy, then me gaining 2 of it might be bad news for him.